Nothing like this, built in a kiss, couldn't resist her. Drove for her charm, lost in her arms. I keep a photograph, give me a glimpse, let me come in, leave her inside her. Hearing begins, here is the sin, something to lie about. You think you're smart, I think you're out. We agree on this, it doesn't work. Feeling like dirt, feeling like you don't care.
That was the killer verse riff from the Porcupine Tree song Open Car. This is one of the best examples of a complex odd time signature that grooves super hard that I've come across. I'm going to break this down, but even more than that, I want to talk about why this particular rhythm feels so natural. If you missed it last week, I launched a Patreon for the Prog School. You'll get access to videos a day early, as well as sheet music and tablature from all of my lessons, including this one. If you sign up at any tier, you'll get the same perks if you become a channel member here on YouTube as well. Porcupine Tree is one of my favorite bands of all time, and Deadwing was the first album of theirs that I listened to, so it holds a special place in my heart. Open Car is a great short song that gets to the point right away, and it starts with this awesome rhythm in 1716.
Nothing like this, built in a kiss, couldn't resist her. Drove for her charm, lost in her arms. I keep a photograph, give me a glimpse, let me come.
Now you could write this in either 1716 or 17:8, and that kind of depends on where you're feeling the tempo, and this can be a somewhat controversial subject, and usually I'll talk about odd time signatures just related to the numerator, so like this is in 7 or this is in 5, because really you could make the case for 1716, 17:8, or even 17:4 for this particular riff. The reason I'm viewing this as 1716 is because of the drum groove, specifically the backbeat. If we feel the pulse here at this slower tempo, the backbeat lands on 2 and 4. And I think that's further confirmed by the chorus of the song. But if you want to view this as 17:8, that works great as well. Really, the most important part of this is how it's subdivided, which is into groups of 5, 5, and 7. The groups of 5 can be divided even further into a group of 3 and then a group of 2. And this is played as 4 16th notes and a rest. And the group of 7 is the same as the group of 5, but with an extra 2 at the end. So we have 3, 2, 2. This whole riff looks like this with the subdivisions.
Nothing like this, built in a kiss, couldn't resist her. Drove for her charm, lost in her arms. I keep a photograph, give me a glimpse, let me come.
And when I'm analyzing these types of rhythms, you'll notice I'm looking at it from a couple of different levels. The complete time signature of 1716, the smaller subdivisions of 5, 5, and 7, and then an even more detailed look inside of those groups of 5 and 7, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 2. And that's the main rhythm here. Now the riff itself is super simple. We're in drop D and it just uses the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and the open low D string. This is in the key of D minor, which is very obvious from the chorus. So that would make these 3 notes the root, the 2nd, and the minor 3rd. But there's no chords happening here. Everything is just playing these 3 notes, the guitar, bass, and the vocals. There is a weird vocal harmony in one spot of the 2nd verse, doing a major 3rd up from the melody, but that's definitely an outlier. There's some ambient keyboards in the last verse as well, just holding the note D, which confirms this being in D minor, but the focus here is really on the rhythm. And for being in 1716, this grooves super hard, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is the drums. Gavin Harrison is playing a straight 4/4 backbeat against this 1716 rhythm. His groove lines up after 2 repeats of the riff, so he plays 2 measures of 4/4, and then adds 1 extra 8th note at the end, which gives you 17 8th notes or 34 16th notes, and that lines up perfectly with 2 repeats of this riff.
You think you're smart, I think you're out. We agree on this, it doesn't work. Feeling like dirt, feeling like you don't care. We get a room, and in the gloom, she lights a cigarette. Clothes on the bed, love me, she said. I lose myself to her.
Now, Gavin is following these odd groupings in his groove, in the kick drum as well as in the cymbals, but when the groove is happening, we're feeling it against that 4/4 pulse because we're so used to hearing these straight grooves. And this creates some awesome syncopation. If I write this in 4/4, you'll see that the riff starts on beat 1 the first time, and then on the second 16th note of the measure the second time, and this makes the riff interact with the pulse we feel in the drums differently each time, and because Gavin is lining back up with the riff every 2 times and not extending that 4/4 backbeat even further, which he could have done, this riff isn't quite as long as it could be, which makes it a little more digestible. The other reason this grooves so well are the vocals. Steven Wilson is singing the exact riff, the notes, the rhythms, all of it, and as humans, we're so connected to the human voice and to speech patterns that just saying the lyrics makes this 17/16 rhythm seem easy. Nothing like this, felt in her kiss, cannot resist her, fell for her charm, lost in her arms, I keep a photograph. If you can vocalize a rhythm, it'll make it easier to feel and to play on an instrument. That's why I always speak rhythms in my lessons. 1 into 2 and 1 into 2 and 1 into 2 and 3 and any chance you have to get your body more physically involved in a rhythm is a good idea.
Nothing like this, comes in a kiss, cannot resist her. Fall for her charm, lost in her arms. I keep a photograph, give me a glimpse, let me come in, be her inside her. Here it begins, here is the sin, something to lie about.
I love it when a rhythm can be so complicated, but also so easy to feel. Honestly, when I first listened to this song, it didn't even seem weird to me at all. It was only after digging into it that I really discovered its complexity, and that's the sign of a perfectly executed odd time signature. Let me know what other songs, rhythms, riffs, and solos I should cover this year on the Prog School. I'm planning on doing a lot more of these analysis videos going forward, and if you'd like a little bit more out of these lessons, consider joining me on Patreon or becoming a channel member here on YouTube. And if you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, comment, share, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay proggy.